All right, it's the 30th of April, 2021. I just got back from a walk run. My age, I don't run the entire 4 miles. Matter of fact, probably only about half of it. But anyway, so I'm still in my running shirt, and I thought I'd just go ahead and do this while it's fresh on my mind. Hello, everyone, as you come in. I'm Roy Potter, of course, and this is just a quick summary of some thoughts that I had today and actually from some experiences I had many, many years ago. And I suppose to introduce the subject matter, which is herd management and refusal to hold Trump accountable. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Hello everyone as you come in. Hello Cheryl Pruitt, how you doing? Yeah, you've done some great work in your research, and I know that takes a lot of courage. I hope you know that I realize that. Okay, so I was out on my walk today and I thought back. I remember I've told you all that many, many years ago I got involved into some really deep study in history and in the scriptures and in all of that, studying Hebrew, Kabbalah, which also included, by the way, some of the secret societies. And I won't go into a whole lot of detail about my contacts there. Just so you know, I've never been in a secret society. Okay, that's not me. Um, the closest I would have come to that was possibly the Mormon Church when I was there, because they do some things in the temple that are considered Masonic, and they are. But as far as doing it for advancement and for, being somehow influential in society and all that, no, I never had anything like that. But I was exposed to a lot of information. And I've talked several times about documents that I saw from these secret societies, uh, talking about the civil war that they would start, causing, especially the things that we're seeing now, the assaults on people who look like me, uh, that become the bad guys in society, and that the people that are more like, well, again, I can't say it on here. I probably should be on LBRY or Odyssey, but the group that they're stirring up against people like me, uh, that was all planned back in the middle of the 1800s, and it wasn't about the Civil War in 1860. That's not what the subject matter was about. That was just an addition to what was going on. But also the threat from China, that we would have to be careful about the threat from China. And those of you who have followed me in the past know that I've talked about these things in some depth, not a lot. But let me tell you what I probably haven't told you before, and that is where some of my information came from. It's been many, many years now since I got this information. I was able to look at it, and the person that showed it to me died several years ago, and I still haven't brought up the details that he was able to give me, the proof and everything else. But I think I'll just go ahead and say it now. I'm not going to say his name still. That wouldn't be fair to his family. I don't want them to suffer any retribution. But let me tell you about this herd management. So far I've told you about the situation with the civil war that they wanted to start, especially making people like myself that look like me, my kind, be the bad guys. To essentially wipe us out. And I'm not doing this to divide us. I'm doing this to help you understand how they're pitting us against each other. And there are other things too. We now have the situation with the medical procedures, of course, where if you're on one side or another, again, it's dividing us and all of that. And again, I have to be careful of my words. But I'll get to that again in a minute. And again, the Chinese thing that was talked about, how they were going to use the Chinese to do that even back then. The question was, how are they going to get them here? Well, all that's been solved, of course, with the forward agents, the special forces, the nations around us giving safe haven to the Chinese, both in Canada and in Mexico, et cetera, et cetera. The Chinese holding the Panama Canal, them holding many of our ports, et cetera. And having control of our politicians. All of those things, but the other threats are real too. But to do it by stealth is a lot better than throwing armies at you. If they throw an army at you, you know you're being invaded and you'll stand up. Well, the way they've done it now is they've infiltrated us to such a point. And this is our own people's fault. Those people that we voted in or put in power to protect us failed, and not only failed but deliberately chose to rat on us, to turn and be traitors to us. So this has come from within, but that was all planned as well. So let me tell you on this other thing that I think that you need to know, because we're seeing it now, and I've alluded to it over the last several years, especially in the last uh, uh, 14 months or so, 15 months. So this gentleman was a 33rd degree Mason minimum. Now I think there are actual levels in the 33rd degree that go up even higher. Maybe not to a 34th degree or a 35th degree, I don't know. But in the 33rd degree, there are apparently even divisions inside that. I don't know what they're called. I could venture, but that's not important. He was at least at the 33rd degree level, okay? And what he used to tell me is that it's a shame, and he really felt this way. Okay, he really felt this way. Why he was willing to show me these things, I don't know. Okay, I'm not certain. But one of the things he said was, it's really crazy that in our human development, we've seen it necessary to use genetic management in our animal herds. In other words, in our sheep, in our cattle, in our even our dogs. Trying to breed new types of dogs. They're still dogs. They're still after their own kind, but breed them towards specific things. So, in other words, what he's saying is that humans have been breeding animals, mixing their genetics to some point. Now, I'm not talking about laboratory stuff like we're seeing with monkey DNA and mixed with humans, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about controlling. Like, let's say you want a fatter cow. You get a nice fat bull with a nice fat cow, and you breed them, and then the ones that come out that fulfill that, that are fat as well, that have that capability, you breed them. And so that's how they used to do it. Not saying that the earlier societies didn't have advanced science. I think they did. I think we've seen this actual laboratory genetic manipulation in the past, and because this thing's been going on for a long time. But at any rate, so he talked about, it's too bad that we're so interested in breeding animals, but we don't have enough common sense. This is him talking. We don't have enough common sense to breed good humans. So he says that's what we're going to do. We're going to start breeding good humans. Now, I'm not saying that's even a bad idea as far as people are educated about what they should do to try to accomplish that themselves. In other words, you pick the best wife or the best husband you can. That's kind of an example of it, but that's not what they're talking about. They were talking about taking control and breeding humans themselves. In other words, it would, which is really kind of out. I mean, it sounds intelligent in one way, but it depends upon who's running the program, right? And I'll let that argument rest for right now, other than to say that uh, to say that they're going to start using scientific intrusions into our biology to alter us, to make us, to breed us into a new human, a new type of human, is as Luciferian and as crazy as if the breeding that men did with animals to get better sheep or better goats, if the men had left it to the sheep and the goats to do that. In other words, to play games with the scientific uh, DNA, chemicals, etc. You see what I'm saying? In other words, men are playing with their own cells, and yeah, we've been placed in a position where we can control our own environment. That's what we were made to do. But to manipulate our genetics, especially for nefarious purposes. Now, the 33rd degree Mason did not say it was for nefarious purposes. He just said that we will select a group of people, and sort of like Hitler did, but now it's gone too far. Now the whole thing is like we're seeing with the Gates saying, all the old people need to go away so that we don't have to give that money to the old people. We have to give it to schools. That was the excuse. But the real point is the Georgia Guidestone thing is really the Guidestone. That's really what they're after. They want to play God, and they want to be the manipulators in the genetic realm and decide where the evolution of humans are going to go. If you don't believe in God, or if you believe in a God that's very evil, that's the kind of thing that you will do. And that's kind of what we're seeing. Okay, yeah, all the chickens need to stand up. What was that called? Chicken Run? Is that chickens that can't even stand up? Oh, chickens that even, I don't know if you saw the movie Chicken Run. That was pretty good. It was an animation, but that's many years ago, about 20, 25 years ago that came out. But at any rate, so I wanted to tell you that I actually had this access with this gentleman that gave me a lot of this information. So what they're doing is right now is they're not doing this to improve the mass of humanity. And I think you know this. Others have been talking about it. They're doing it because they want to seize the tree of life, as they call it. They want not even that really. What they want to do is they want to overcome and become the gods of this realm. And as I said before, they will destroy everything if they think they're going to lose the opportunity to do that. I've talked about that for years. And again, this 33rd degree Mason said that they want to be able to breed humans to make better humans. That's no secret. Again, as I've said, Hitler was about that. We've seen others talk about it. The Chinese now are talking about making super soldiers. But the point is that rather than doing it by natural means, taking this great woman and that great man and doing it, that they're actually now going after us at the genetic level for that. It does two things. One, it gets rid of all the useless eaters, as Gates likes to call us, rather than helping us to rise up to greater levels of intelligence and understanding and wisdom. It's to dumb us down and then to knock you off. So that's really where it was going. In other words, this 33rd degree Mason said, we're going to kick them off the planet. Anybody who doesn't make the grade, we're going to kick them off the planet. What does that mean? I think it's pretty obvious. Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to bring up, is that I do have that type of inside information on that. It's not for our benefit, okay? It's for the benefit of a very few, and it's not godlike in any way, shape, or form. It's very evil and very nefarious. I think most of you know that. So again, I had firsthand experience with a person inside that society that actually they saw some things in me that they thought I was like them when I wasn't. But they thought I was, and I just took advantage of that in order to learn what it was all about. Yeah, Kelly, it's not that kind of breeder, okay? You really wouldn't want to sign on the dotted line with these guys. You really wouldn't want to do that, okay? We can talk about other things, but not with them, all right? That's another subject. Finally, I know a lot of people get upset when I bring this up, but I wanted to bring it up this morning. Yes, I listened to Alex Jones today while I was out on my run walk, and I got really frustrated again. And I probably ought to talk to some people that know what the heck's going on here. But again, he was on there and he's railing against Fauci, he's railing against Gates, he's railing against the CDC, he's railing against the UN. He's talking about all these nasty people that are pushing us towards this situation. And he never, ever calls out Trump. Now, about a month and a half ago, or whatever it was, he had a program where he spent, I don't know, a good half hour or an hour about how Trump is let us down on this thing. Well, I don't look to Trump for anything other than trouble now. He's nothing but trouble. He is a Trojan horse. He is a Manchurian candidate. He is a devil in disguise as an angel of light. Okay? I hope everybody knows I have no respect for the guy. I loathe him to the core. Okay? I loathe the bastard. Okay? However, we have to know what we're dealing with. And I don't understand, unless he's just trying to keep his audience, like I've talked about before. Wrong, you are wrong. Oh boy. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Um, no, I can't drop him as a subject, Peter. He has too much influence. See, you don't understand. You don't ignore your enemy. You don't ignore your enemy or their operators. That's foolishness, Peter. That's foolishness. I'm calling him out again. I talk about him because he's a problem. If you have a neighbor that's trying to steal your kid, you're going to let other people know about it. Don't be stupid, Peter. Don't piss me off. That's unreasonable. I'm talking about him because I want people to understand there's something wrong with him. He will not call out Trump. It might be because he wants to keep his audience. It might be because he wants to keep the money coming in from the people that support Trump. I don't know, but whatever, it's deceptive and it's wrong. And so I'm calling him out again. He's not serious about any of this. Trump just came out and pushed his Trump scene again and wants all the glory for it. So Alex will call out all these other people. He has this attorney on today talking about the lawsuits they're filing and all that. And Alex never says anything about Trump pushing this stuff. Okay? There's something wrong there. And I also don't trust him. He talks about the Holy Spirit and about Jesus Christ and about God, and we're going to go into a new society where we're going to do so many great things and explore the universe and all that. And he's on Christ's side, and he still will not apologize to David Knight publicly. He needs to call David Knight up on the phone and apologize to David Knight personally first, and then do it publicly. Even if David says it's not necessary, Alex, it's necessary, okay? Until you do these two things, you call out Trump and you apologize publicly to David Knight, I don't believe a goddamn thing you say. Understood? Fatso? I know I shouldn't be involved in pejoratives or name calling, but we're at a point now where things are too serious. We can't be playing these asshole games anymore. We really can't. All right. That's all I got for you. I'd like to stay on, but I really can't. I have some other things I got to do today. But I just wanted to tell you that I had this contact with this 33rd degree Mason that explained to me what their program is. And it went right along with Morals and Dogma of Albert Pike. And people say that the letter that he wrote that explains some of this stuff he didn't really write, it was a forgery. Nope. They admit it. Okay. Nope. Even if the letter wasn't genuine as far as going to that person, the subject matter in there is legitimate. Okay. Now, one last thing I will say in the defense of these people: there are good Masons and bad Masons. There are people that will fight with me on that from day one. Okay, and I know that, especially Catholics. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that just like the ancient Essenes, where there were different sects of them that did different things, or even today you get different sects of Christianity. You have the Catholics, you have the Protestants. Inside in the Catholics you have the Roman Catholics and the Greek Orthodox. In the Christians you have the Presbyterians, the Methodists, the Baptists. You get my point, right? The Lutherans, etc. Well, that's exactly how the Masonic thing is. Okay, there are good ones. Okay, but trying to figure out who they are at this point is pretty difficult. Okay. Because the corruption is just entered into so many places. So the only thing that you can do is what I always say: allow God to write his law into your heart and into your mind. Let him show you what his attributes are, and do your best. Ask him to help you to have his attributes placed inside you. It's not an easy process. It's not like hocus pocus dominocus. Yeah, here it is. He's going to put you through trials to see how you do it. Not that he doesn't know, but that you have to know where you stand. So that's what you're going to end up with, is you're going to end up with these tests that aren't really a test that God is trying to find out what you're going to do. It's so that you will find out what you're really like, so that you know a judgment is a righteous judgment. Okay, I got to go. Have a great day. Out for now.